Hello guys, my name is Umu. I'm a fashion designer and fashion instructor. Welcome to University of Pattern Drafting, a channel where I share my expertise in pattern drafting and garment construction through sewing tutorials. So guys, today's tutorial is going to be on how to cut and sew the collar for a shirt. So first off, I have gone ahead to join my shirt. I had even fixed the sleeve. So the first step is so this is the shirt actually. So the first step is to measure the neckline. That is what you have after you have joined the shoulder area of your shirt. So use your tape rule to measure what you have left. So this is me measuring all the way from one edge of my neckline to the other. So what I have at the end of the day is about this is about 17 inches. Yeah, 17 inches. So 17 inches, divide that by 2, that's 8.5 inches. So first off, I'm using this is stay. Stay is the interfacing that I'm going to be using for the collar area. So I have decided to draft the pattern directly on the stay because this is what I do. I do that just for accuracy, because I feel if you draft on paper, by the time you're cutting on the stay, since they are such tiny pieces, it might increase the size. So I am marking from the folded edge. I'd marked my 8.5 inches. So now 8.5 inches, also divide that by 2, that is 4¼ inches, and that's what you can see me marking at the center of that line. And then at the edge of the line, go up by 1 inch. This is what you can see me marking. So now use a diagonal line to connect those 2 points. So I'm using my ruler to draw a diagonal line to connect those 2 points. So now this is the first step. If you know how collars are, collars have 2 layers. So this is the first step of my collar, and you can also use this for if you're drafting the pattern for a mandarin collar. So the width of that is usually between 1 inch and maybe 1¼ inches. So I'm using 1 inch. So this is what you can see me marking all the way round. Do you understand? So essentially creating a bar that is 8.5 inches by 1 inch. Do you get? So this is what you can see me doing. Just for accuracy, after drawing the lines, you can just go ahead and use your tape rule to measure round the lines to ensure that you have that same 8.5, because of that diagonal line, the line might have become longer, so you might need to reduce it to be exactly that 8.5 inches. So I am just going ahead to do that. So this is also, so I'm going ahead to also draw the edge of the collar. And if you've noticed with collars, that most mandarin collars, the edge, this is the edge of the collar, they're usually not sharp, like square, just a sharp square like that. They usually have a curved edge. So this is me going ahead to create a slight curve. Going ahead to create a slight curve. So that is what you can see me doing here. And so after that, on top of that plate, just directly at that point, create another horizontal line. Do you understand? To the folded edge of your fabric, of your interfacing. So that's my horizontal line. So this is basically, we're trying to draft the second layer of the collar. Collar has 2 steps. So we've done the first step. This is the second step we're going ahead to do, guys. This tutorial is pretty easy, so just pay attention and you will get it. So from that edge, measure inwards 1 inches. Do you get? So measure inwards 1 inch and then just square a line upwards. So usually the second layer for female shirts is usually between about maybe 2 inches to 2.5 inches. You can go as wide as 3 inches depending on design you're trying to achieve. So I am going to be using 2.5 inches. So after squaring up that line, I'm going to mark 2.5 inches all the way round. Do you understand? So this is 2.5 inches. So essentially creating another box that is maybe 2.5 inches wide, essentially. Let me confuse. Oops. So so I'm going ahead to draw out the horizontal line. So most times the edge of this second layer of the collar is usually slightly protruded. So just mark 0.5 inches from the 1 inch mark you had marked earlier, and then use a diagonal line to connect it back, just the way you can see me doing. But if you want yours straight, if you don't want yours slightly protruded, then just leave it the way it was initially. So now guys, if you've noticed, for shirt collars, the center part of that second layer is usually slimmer than the edge. So reduce what you have there by 1/2 inch. Do you understand? So meaning that essentially that's the folded part. The center of your collar will be 2 inches while the edge is 2.5 inches, guys. So I hope you understand that. So this is me just connecting using a curved line to just connect it back to the edge. So guys, see, our collar is set and ready. So I'm just going ahead to shade the areas that are the collar. This is the first layer of the collar. I'm just shading it just for clarity. So that's the first step of the collar, and then this is the second step, guys. So in cutting it out, you don't need to cut out the allowance, just cut directly what you have. So I'm going to go ahead and use a scissors to cut this out. So cut out the curved, remember the curved edge, so cut that out. And then remember the bottom. So this is what I have, and then I'm going ahead to cut out the second layer. So I hope this is really clear, guys. If at this point you haven't subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button, because I upload at least 2 tutorials per week, and I believe that in watching all of these tutorials your skill level would improve. So if you're interested in that, improving yourself, ensure that you hit the subscribe button, guys. So this is my collar. So I have a pair of this as well as a pair of the first layer. So this is the second layer, as you can see, guys, and this is the first layer, which is much smaller than the second layer. And I have a pair of both. Do you understand? So because the collar is, you know how collars are now, collars are lined with, yes, they are lined essentially. So you have to have a pair of both pieces. So this is what you can see. I'm just lining them up so that it's clearer, but this is essentially how our collar is. So I'm going to go ahead and then iron this out on fabric. Remember, I didn't cut with allowance, so I'm going to go ahead and iron this out on fabric. So I prefer to do it this way, because if I try to cut it out on fabric, I feel it wouldn't be accurate. I would probably it wouldn't just balance at the end of the day. So this is the way I do it. I iron directly on just a wide spread of fabric, and then I cut it out. So when you're cutting it out, cut out with 1/2 inch allowance all the way around, guys. 1/2 inch allowance, really important, because you need that to sew. So cutting that out, that's the curved edge that I just cut out, and then I'm going ahead to cut out the base. So do that for all the 4 pieces. Remember, we have 4 pieces, guys, so do that for all the 4 pieces. So I'm ironing that for all the 4 pieces. So I'll do the same. This is the second layer, so it's the same 0.5 inches all around it. That's all around the interfacing. So this is what it is actually supposed to look like. That's the first layer, and then second layer. I've done that for all the 4 pieces, and I'm just going to go ahead and place it the way it is supposed to be so I can explain it. So this is how the collar is actually supposed to be. So now to sew it, place the right sides together. So this is right sides together against the second right side, and then sew around the top, leaving the area that will be joined to the second layer open. So sew all of this, just all those 3 edges. Leave this curved edge. This is the curved edge where we took out that 0.5 inches, so leave that open. So I'm going ahead to sew on my machine. So sew directly at the edge of the S-stay, not away from the S-stay. Don't try to move it, just sew directly at the edge of the S-stay. So make sure all of the pieces are aligned. You can go ahead, you can first notch the center, so that you're sewing, you just ensure that the center of both pieces match each other. So you just sew all the 3 edges, and then leave the curved edge open. So just go ahead and cut out the excess allowance. So cut out 1/4 of an inch, leaving the remaining 1/4 of an inch as allowance, so that it doesn't look bulky when you turn it the other way. So cut the third side, and okay, turn it inside out, and this is what you are supposed to have. So just go ahead and poke the edges, so that so that it's smooth and sharp at those edges. And then I'm just going to go ahead and iron it very well, and ensure that you steam it. If at this point you still haven't subscribed, ensure that you hit the subscribe button as well as the notification bell, so you get notified when I upload new videos. So after ironing this, let's work on the first step of the collar. So this is the first step of the collar, the mandarin part of the collar. So I'm notching the center. Okay, sorry, this is the second layer. I'm just trying to smoothen out the edges, and I've notched the center of that one. So this is the one that we just sewed and ironed. I've notched the center of that. I'm going to go ahead and also notch the center of this, the first step. That's the smaller part of the collar. So I've placed my right sides together, and I am just notching the center. So after notching it, I'm going to place it. If you get confused at this point, you can just get a shirt, any of your shirts that you have, and then look at the way it is placed so that you would understand better. But look at the curved edge of the collar. So this is the curved edge. So I'm going to have to place the one we sewed and ironed in between the 2 layers of the first step of the collar. So can you see that? Then I'm placing the second step over it, ensuring that the notched points are properly aligned. So this is me just ensuring that the notched areas are properly aligned. I'm putting that in between. So I'm just going to go ahead and pin it just for accuracy, and then sew. So if you get confused, just get a shirt and look at how it is fixed, and then you would understand what I am trying to do here. So start from that point and then sew around the curved edges. So really what we would have left is the side that is supposed to be joined to the shirt. That's the only part that would be left open and left unsewn. So just sew and then leave that portion open. So this is the second curved edge that I'm sewing around, and then I'm just going to go ahead and cut out the allowances and then turn it inside out. So this is basically how it is done. And make sure you iron before you fit it to your shirt. So this is what it looks like, guys. Can you see that? So just go ahead and cut out the extra allowance so that when you turn it inside out, it doesn't look bulky. So thanks for watching, guys. This is basically the end of this tutorial, and if you haven't subscribed at this point, ensure that you hit the subscribe button before you finish watching the video. So this is me turning it inside out, and I'm just going to go ahead and iron and fix it to my shirt. Thanks for watching, guys.